All right. Trying to get Lisa on here. Let's see here. Still, we're figuring out this technology. Where in the world are you, Lisa? Got all kinds of people coming on. I can see them. See you all. What's up, Michael? Let's see here. Waiting for Lisa. Not sure what happened here. Let's see here. Let's see, there you are, Lisa. There you are, Lisa.
Okay.
All right. How's it going?
Going great. How are you?
Yeah. So we got it worked out here. Looks like we're finally live.
Okay.
Got some people joining in already. So this is coming along pretty good.
I guess so.
Yeah. You can hear me pretty well?
I can hear you actually much better than before. Hi, Gwen.
Awesome. All right. So I guess we'll just get started. Appreciate your patience, Lisa, and everyone else's figuring out the technology. And this is something that I've going to be trying to do more of in the future, is have these collaborations and talk about stuff and share. And so there's a couple different platforms we tested out, and this one seems to be the easiest. So we'll see how it goes from here. So the biggest thing is, let's just go straight into talking about your trip to Mount Shasta. Tell us a little bit about, what you're feeling drawn to go out there for, and, maybe a couple of your experiences.
Funny, I mentioned to you, I just realized I actually just came back last week, Monday, and it felt like 3 lifetimes ago. So, what draw me to the mountain? I don't know. The mountain been calling me for years and years. I was going to go there, just a few years ago. I live in Northern California, if you know. Never made it. And then last year, I've been getting the nudge to just do a retreat, something that I've actually been guided to do, but I've been dreading it for years. I've been saying no. Finally, I said yes last year. Pretty terrifying, but I don't know. Nothing to worry about, I guess. The mountain. In Neo Paradigm, we've worked a lot with the telos and Saint Germain, and you know that they actually are there. Shasta is one of Saint Germain's retreat center. And the telos have been helping us all throughout this, years, lifetimes after lifetimes. I don't know, the mountain physical itself is just so grand. It's so majestic. driving in, I got there first before my group arrived. Driving in, I was driving and I was just having this very intense moment as you were driving in. I was driving in from the north, so the mountain is just right there as you're approaching Mount Shasta, and it was just majestic, like, you know. And I was telling people afterwards, the energy between between Shasta and Sedona. I'm comparing both because both are very known to people in the spiritual world as, you know, places that has huge energy vortexes. Um, the energy is very different. For me personally, and I always talk based on what I personally actually experienced. Sedona is more like in your face type of, like, the power is like right there. Whether you ready or not, it's just going to do whatever. Like right there. Like, you know, like it's more like a very I know there's a masculine and a feminine vortexes there, but to me it's more like just kind of like phew, like that. But
Mhm.
Shasta is very different. Um, to me, it felt more ancient. The energy is very nurturing, very, very soft, um, almost like a grandma love, you know, like it's just, um, if I can compare, it's more of a feminine side that I felt, even though um, the area itself is actually one of the mineral water there is very well known for the divine balance, which is balancing your divine feminine and divine masculine. But
Mhm.
the energy of the area itself, I felt, is very strong, very potent, but not in your face type of thing. How the way I actually experience in Sedona, if that makes
So you it's that you just described sort of like you're feeling what you feel from the mountain. Did you do some meditations while you were there?
Oh yeah, we did. Um, the retreat center, we actually never really have any session inside. They have like this beautiful, like huge back patio, um, overlooking a creek right behind the center. That's where we actually just spent 2 full days, actually 2.5 day almost. We're just out there, um, meditations, group meditations, individual meditations, just communing and just, you know, being one with nature and all
Yeah.
there is. We did go to several, like, I would, I think about 3 or 4, like, high energy places, at the last day. We did not specifically do meditation on the spot. It's just it was a Saturday. So lesson learned, I might have, you know, kind of like tweaked that next time if we go to places like this to actually go um to the hot spots or wherever it is, like not during the weekends. It was summer weekend, so it was really crowded, but we enjoyed it
Hmm.
nonetheless. Yeah.
So the so just a little bit like what um the one thing that I'm putting a video together to put out on my YouTube channel in the next couple of days. Hopefully we'll finish it up. I've been working on it for a few weeks. Um, but as we talked earlier, it sort of worked out interesting that I was drawn to go to the Black Mountains in North Carolina. And it just so happened that it was you were in Mount Shasta and I was in the Black Mountains at the same time.
Hmm.
And went up to Mount Mitchell, which is the highest peak east of the Mississippi on the east coast of the United States. And so it was it's sort of interesting how we go when we have these experiences and this sort of scheduling falls together at divine timing for these things that it's probably better that we don't mentally know the work that we're doing. But
Right.
It's sort of interesting that you were there and I was in the mountains doing some work up there and hanging out at the same time. And so what was was there anything like major, like one of the main things that stood out from you, from your own personal experience, any major aha moments while you were out there in Mount Shasta that you would like to share?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure everyone knows this. The veil is getting thinner and thinner. All over. I mean, even right where we are right now, I mean, all over is getting thinner. However, I feel in certain parts of the world, and you can see it from whichever point of view, you know, from geographic point of view, that it's actually probably higher in the mountain, elevation wise, whatever it is. I don't really care what your point of view is, but what I felt in Mount Shasta, the veil is even thinner. It is so much easier to just connect. And it has been getting easier. Even me here in the big city, as in Chicago, I felt it is getting easier to just, you know, this and that. But in Shasta, it was definitely like things that I saw is clearer. The whatever it is, the vibrational changes is stronger. So which is different than my day-to-day basis here in a big city. Whether or not it's because of it's out in nature, we probably have better experience or have more comments on this, Joe, because you know you're a nature guy. It's easy for you to get out in nature, like. But I felt that's like one of, I mean, I saw Kuan Yin did things to, you know, the group, the participants, the way I've never seen it before. It's just, it's, the veil was very thin.
Yeah, that very much leads into what I was going to share, is that, you know, one of the main things that I got out of my trip to the Black Mountains is, you know, I was not aware that I got from the upstairs, is that the Black Mountains, in a way, including the Mount Mitchell area, is sort of like the Mount Shasta of the East, and the energetics that are coming online now, and the new, say, or say the ancient stargates or portals and so on, are really, you know, these were high vibrational regions in the first place, but really with what's going on now is just taking it to a whole nother level, the levels of vibrational changes and so on. It's so much more prominent, just as you're describing, and the veils. The one thing that we briefly talked about after the trip, you know, like last week, we briefly talked. There was a major upshift in about a week or so ago, after, of course, a return from the trip.
Right.
And you emailed me, and I was feeling drawn to contacting you at the same time. And I'm still gaining more clarity of what, you know, is transpiring. But that was a major upshift.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to figure out, like, you know, where is this, you know, and the biggest thing it's almost like they were describing the different energetics of the, say, the new earth energetics, and in the old school energetics. I would have, the only way that I know how to describe it, and you can put it in your own words, is that you'd say the new earth energetics, or say, are a lot more sort of like woven, the spider web of the interconnections between the different, not only us in physical, but also the energetics of the earth, the new earth energetics, are just really coming online now. There's so much more stable, in a lot of different ways. From when I was up there in the mountains, it was something that I have not experienced before. So anyway, what is that, like something that you see also, or
Oh,
anything else you would add to that?
well, no, definitely. I, well, after this trip is over, I came home. Like, I know that I have to kind of like take things easy. Usually that's the thing, but I had so much going on. That's why I emailed you. I was like, what the heck is happening? Because it's like I can feel it on my physical level, to the point where I mean, that has never happened before to that extent. When the energy is very intense, not being able to sleep is very, very um, normal for me, normal. But I wasn't able to sleep um, because my physical body is going through something. And it was just something that is so foreign to me. That's why I'm like, I need to find out what's going on. And like, I was too much in my head trying to just figure out maybe this, maybe that. So I'm like, maybe Joe knows. That's why I reach out. Um, um, the web thingy, totally, I mean, it has, and that has been going on for a while. It's like we're connected. We're like, this tiny bits of particles on a huge spider web. I've been feeling the web is getting the connection between us and everything else. Would that be fellow human beings, um, or whatever it is getting stronger. Like one that is happening in that far west of the web, we can probably feel it. The thing is whether or not we, or the key is for us to actually understand that it's coming not from us, or like it's not ours, it's someone else. That's the key, is to like differentiate between the two, what is ours and what is not. In Shasta particularly though, I felt the water is almost like alive. Like, I mean, water is alive, but it's I don't even know how to describe this or how to take this.
Different vibration,
It is really
different.
different vibe. It's like,
Yeah, I felt the same thing with the wind also. Just the wind and with the water. I think that it also comes down to the elements in
right,
themselves. Uh, as as the old saying goes, as we change, everything else changes. But in some ways, as we change, we're coming in tune with the natural elements in a way that we have not, say, have been in tune with them before.
right.
And so, yeah, I experienced the same thing. I'm glad you said something about the water. It reminded me about the wind connection that I had while I was in the mountains.
Right. The water was something else. I think something happening there. But it's, so there is like this special place where everyone goes anyway, and they just, fill up their bottle and just drink it out like that. Like raw water is the thing now. But that water is just, it's, I mean, seriously, something like I have never experienced before.
That's awesome. So, let's, if there's anybody watching that has any questions, you're welcome to post those in the comments. See, we have probably about 7 or 8 people right now, live, watching us. So participating. So if there's anybody has a question, you can post it now. So the other thing, Lisa, that I wanted to talk or chat with you about is last week you had an event where with Shiva. Can you describe a little bit about that? Anything you would like to share from that event?
It's something that, well, a get together that I resurrect. I used to do this type of get together. I would say maybe 2-3 years ago. It's a group of people where we come in together and we chant. I kind of like revisited the format, and this time I'm bringing it back. Instead of doing the chakra chant, and like we did a couple of years ago or so, we actually do a chanting with, you know, gods, goddesses, or deities that is basically connected to the mantra itself. So we invoke their energy, we invoke them, within our group by mainly just chanting the mantra. This has been people who came to my previous get together of this chanting, like they really, really want this back. And chanting mantra is something for a lot of people is very foreign. And I do not like to visit this from certain denomination or see it from a religion perspective, but it's just something that if we do it, it literally changes the vibration all around us and within us. I've told people who are new to chanting, I chant any given time. I've chanted to calm a dog with anxiety problem, I chant like going down the street at night when I kind of like feel like, like the area is not all that. Actually, my group of people and me, when we went to Arkansas last year, we chanted to break out like what is it? Like we were stuck in the traffic and we just start chanting and the traffic is actually breaking out. I mean, you can see it as whatever you want. Oh, it was just the timing. But I personally feel it. I've actually had people that never chanted before and they start chanting and they report changes that they didn't even expect themselves. I actually chanted the Kuan Yin mantra to invoke Kuan Yin as my dad was passing on his deathbed. So something that is very, very, like it's very natural for me to just start chanting.
Yeah, that's even though I don't. There has been times where I've done some chanting, but I'm not on a regular basis as much as some other people are drawn to. It's to me, it's almost in a way just assists with our focus, and getting in tune, realigning, assists with that alignment and the focus. The more we're able to stay in that alignment, the more everything flows so much easier. And so yeah, it's an incredible tool. It's very similar to back in several years ago. I used to do a lot of voice toning with the different chakras and really opening them up to a greater degree. And it's extremely beneficial for something that is free and it comes out of our own mouth, So do you have any upcoming events that you would like to share or talk about, or any other ideas that you know, wanted to share? I know we had talked about before doing some collaboration, maybe in some future events. Anything you would like to share about anything coming up?
Well, for my Chicago folks, I have regular events, you know, right now it's at 3 different places, but I am actually, again, something that I've been nudged to do, which I finally agreed to, because when you're in comfort zone, it's so hard to break out of it. I'm going to bring my events to even different, you know, venues, like more so than what I've been doing it now. Speaking of toning, I have a 1 day, like just purely toning, um, get together. I don't like to call them classes because it sounds boring. So it's toning get together, and I've had people being blown away with their experience, but with just simply toning and let, you know, sound out, and how healing it actually is. One major thing that I've actually been being nudged to do, and I for the longest time I've been saying no, but I think I came to the point where I cannot say no anymore, is and this will be happening in the near future, that I'll be bringing in the energy of the divine mothers. I've worked closely with a few of them. I'm in the process of putting together either a weekend get together, or just a 1 day get together, where we actually work very closely with the divine mothers, bringing in the divine feminine energy here.
So the most of these events that you're describing are going to be there in Chicago.
Majority of it, yes, but after I did my retreat in Mount Shasta, honestly, at first I thought this is going to be my first and my last. I mean, it is so much fun, but arranging it, especially I was doing it by myself. It's putting so much stress, because people don't register until the very last minute.
Yeah.
So until the very
No doubt
last
about
minute,
that with events.
right? You don't even know if it's gonna be a go or not. People love that though. So I think it's just a matter of really, and this is something that I like to share with people, because this is something that I'm also still going through. It's just, we need to trust more. So less in here and more here in the heart. And
Yeah.
I honestly share this because I've experienced this every now and then, but I'm more of a fearless one. So I'm more like, yes, let's do this. How, I don't know. But I know a lot of people, especially here, my Chicago folks, city, like city people are all here. So one of my, I wouldn't say job. I don't like even the word job. It's like, well, my passion is actually to remind people to you know, to bring it from here more to here. That's about it. But yeah, I am looking into the possibility of having fun shops, not a workshop, fun shops outside of Chicago. I really, really like to bring Chicago people outside, being closer to nature. And I know, Joe, you're loved here in Chicago, so I'm looking forward to actually maybe we can collaborate and do something, not so much in the city of Chicago, but just somewhere nearby. I mean,
Mhm.
there's so
Well,
much.
Allie just posted a question, comment a second ago about having another 13D upgrade in Chicago. I know it was talked about before, so maybe we'll have to chat about arranging that at some point. And maybe when I come up there, we can put together something else, either a day event or something like that, to where we can have a separate event at the same time while I'm up there, maybe something like that.
Yeah, no,
Um,
definitely.
yeah. So the one thing I wanted to comment on, that you were describing using different words, because some words just don't fit anymore for what the heck we're trying to say or describe. I was going through the process of re-describing like what I do or how I see my sort of work. And I don't have a problem with calling it work, because this is what I'm passionate about, what I see, and what basically what I would like to build on in the future. So it's sort of like the most the words that I came up with on on the some of these classifications on Facebook and all these other places that sort of try to put you in the box, of these classifications. The one word that came that fit the best was artist.
Mm.
And the description on the definition of an artist as somebody to specialize in something, that it has a very broad description, and or a creator of something. So I'm going to be using the word artist a lot more in the accompanying time. A creator and facilitator, artist.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's getting rid of all these classifications
Right.
and labels
No,
and stuff like that.
I'm with you. I have been actually this is like the second wave, I would say, that's been really um really influenced me to like, okay, a rebranding of sort needs to happen. Not so much as in now I'm doing something entirely different, but it's like to really broaden out. Like I never really liked to be classified as one thing. Like even when I first had my first business card, it's like you don't. I mean, I don't put anything there. Like I don't actually, like just stamp myself as something. But then again, I notice it creates confusion, like to people. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so what are you?
Yeah, that's right. They got it. They want to see the box,
Right.
and to try to figure out how we're going to do it. So it's the I guess the biggest. We were talking about events. So I just want to go back to the event, talking about events and so on. I'm going to be I'm going to be scheduling another probably 2-day New Paradigm MDT course here in Raleigh at some point. It just hasn't been a lot of draw around the Raleigh area. So I think the biggest thing is, from what I'm getting to, is to reclassify, say re-describe some of the things that we've used in the past to describe these events. Maybe might assist in some things. I know I'm going to be going to John Armitage event in New Orleans in October. But other than those two events, I was holding some events in the local yoga studio, some just regular 90-minute meditation classes and stuff like that. But that's sort of, I'm not really feeling drawn to doing those too much. I wasn't really feeling connected with continuing them. So going to be doing more here on these type of collaborations with like you and others, and trying to really just share in different ways, doing more videos and other things. Do you have any other, say, avenues of sharing other than, say, your events that you are planning?
Well, me being here in front of a camera right now is really, really pushing me out there. I really don't, this is not my cup of tea. But having said that, I have been pushed to actually do more of that. So thank you for opening this
Yeah.
up.
Well, I definitely felt, give you a little pinch there, you know, a little pinch.
You mean kick?
To, yeah, to
Um,
get you on camera
right.
so
So
we could share and talk about stuff.
yes. How I honestly really don't know. A lot of people ask me to be on YouTube. I personally don't quite. I'm not a fan of being out there that way. But once again, I've been pushed to do that, and I mean, normally I cannot say no anymore if it actually really align with everything else. So when that comes, then that's probably what what I ended up doing. But I do share like a monthly energy update. I kind of like take a break this couple of months because I have lots on my plate. Uh, but I've actually sent out like monthly energy update. Those that subscribe to my I call it love letter. So if you because I'm not about boring stuff. So a newsletter sounds boring. So I call it love letter. For those signed up to my love letter, so I do that. That's how I share also. But you are right, Joe. I have been again, like nudge, pushed, whatever the word is, to really share even tidbits of things, which I don't quite like, honestly. Like I don't do Twitter, uh, just because it's not something that not it's not me. But maybe from now on, I can just do very mini tiny videos here and there and just talk about energy in general and what I picked up and what worked for me and what needed to be focused. A lot of people and once again, of course this is for everyone, but my main focus is for city folks. I was born and grew up in Jakarta, which is a really, really big city. And then now right now, my home is Chicago, is another really, really big city. So my focus is always to assist those city folks. That it's very easy for people who lives in a big city to disconnect. And I would love to just, remind them how it is to, maintain that connection.
Yeah, the one thing I was going to say that sort of you reminded me about is it as these energetic upshifts are taking place, sort of like what happened about a week or so ago. There was 2 or 3 days that went by where I was totally had a hard time just making a decision to do anything, either to eat. So just to figure out what to eat, it was sort of like took me that one day 2 or 3 hours just to decide what to eat. It was literally 2 or 3 days of I couldn't decide on anything. I just basically had to start walking, and okay, I'm going to start walking. I'm going to walk out the door, and I have no idea where I'm going, and it basically stuff goes together. So these multitasking abilities and then integrating that with, say, these technologies that we have and communicating, it's I would have to say it's a challenging task, in some ways to even operate as these energetic changes are taking place. It's we're only faced with or put in situations, of course, that we can handle. So we're always pushing our boundaries, and you know,
Oh
and so
man, yeah.
that's we have to move into uncharted waters in order to really learn how to sail our ship, or something like that more effectively. So, at least the biggest thing is that we keep putting ourselves out there and trying new things. So it all comes together a little easier for us. So let's see, we're getting about 40 minutes now. So we're getting to the point where we were shooting for. Lisa, is there, first of all, I was thinking, how, if somebody wanted to contact you, what is the best way for somebody to contact you? And or any other places that you might list your events or your upcoming events?
Well, the easiest way is to really go to my website, because I always list that month's events on my website, regardless regardless of the location. So there is a event tab, where people can just see and click, and then they'll actually get there and see what it is, and where and when and all that kind of stuff. My website is b-love.us. So b-love, love.us. And that's the best way. And there's a contact page where people can actually contact me through that also, that goes directly to my email. So, and being in this modern world, I am on top of my email and stuff. So
yeah, what I'll do is after this, and as I shared, we talked about, I will upload this to YouTube, and then underneath the description, I'll put the link to your website also when I get to the point of uploading that. And then I'll put the information for those who are interested, for my contact information, the website. I'll post it below in the description of this video. So is there any, the biggest part that I want to say is that I appreciate you, Lisa, working with me, trying to put figuring out these technologies in the best, easiest way for us to share. As I'm saying, I'm looking forward to doing this with other people. I have some ideas to do it in person with some other live events. Is anything you want to say to wrap this up before we call it end?
uh, well, just a reminder for everyone. Again, I mean, we've touched this so many times during our talk, but what I'm noticing from people is they always ask for something new to happen to them, or like, I want this, I want that, but they're very resistant to change, or like like what we were just talking about. They don't want to go outside of their comfort zone. I mean, I'm speaking, I mean, it happens to me, and I see it happens to people around me. If you want something new, if you want change, and you're still doing what you've been doing, then I can guarantee it's not ever going to happen. So just embrace change. It's something that it cannot be avoided. And if you want to grow, take that one step. Just one step is enough, and then another step, maybe another time. But that one step is the most important thing. And once again,
Yeah, I've said that to myself a million times, probably over these last years. Is one step at a time. As I was describing like a week or so ago, I couldn't even make a decision on what to eat. It kept popping in my head. It's one step at a time. Literally, I'm talking about physically, one step, and then see what the heck happens after that. And it all falls together one way or another. And so, I think the one step at a time is a good reference to bring this together for you know, as these changes continue to happen and these upshifts happen and we're moving into uncharted waters, is just one step at a time, you know, one thought at a time, one physical step at a time is the way to go. So, all right, Lisa.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone that's participated and maybe watch this video in the future. And when this video is shared in YouTube and so on, if you have any questions for myself or Lisa, you are welcome to post them in the YouTube comments. And I will make sure if it's a comment or a question directed to Lisa, I will send it to her, let her know about it. And so that's it. Looking forward to future events like this and sharing. And again, thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
For playing around. You all have a nice day. And I'll see you all soon.
Thank you all.
All right. See you, Lisa.
See ya.